to the Tracksuit Podcast.
What's up, and welcome to the new episode of the Tracksuit Podcast. Brad Pitt could not make it today. We had to reschedule. So now we got Tom Malloy, our actor, writer, director, producer, and sales agent and distributor.
And musician. I mean, magician.
I feel you've leveled up from Brad Pitt, by the way. He can't do all those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
By the way, making a joke, Brad Pitt was never coming, but Tom did tag in last minute for us. We had a last minute cancellation, so he was scheduled later, and we were able to bring him in early.
And we love Tom because we've all been friends with Tom for quite a while now. And also, I know we'll get into it, but Tom, musician and magician?
Well, I can sing, but I can't play any instruments.
He can karaoke.
I can karaoke.
That's
And,
okay.
But no, and magician, as well. Card tricks.
That's fucking awesome.
Yes.
Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much.
You're recently a new member of the Magic Castle. I'm a member as well, but I didn't have to audition. I got in the cheating way.
Yeah, well, you're a like a Patreon member, like not a Patreon, like a associate member, and I'm a magician member.
Correct.
So,
I get the all the same perks, but you actually earned it.
I suppose, exactly. But you have to pay a lot more. So
a lot more. A lot more.
So,
do you not have to pay?
I pay, but less.
Okay.
I think it's like a quarter. Of what
it's
I
a
have
third
to
or a quarter of what he pays.
Does it require you to actually do magic there to keep your stuff going?
No, I don't believe they force you to perform.
Okay.
So that'd be kind of funny. Though.
I didn't know if they were like once a month you have to
or
be
you're
here.
out. So
Yeah.
Well, you have to have a deck of cards on you at all times because if Neil Patrick Harris is walking by you and says, "Show me a trick," and you can't do it, you're out.
You're out.
Has that happened?
Yeah, it happened on the street once. Yeah, and it was just shocking.
He could be one of us could be Neil at any point. We don't know.
You don't know. Yeah.
Do you have a deck right now of cards?
I do not have a deck. I have a last minute fill in. You know what I mean? Normally, I got my deck. I got everything. I got a guitar. No,
That's awesome.
So Tom and I worked together on one movie called The Wicked of Oz.
Yes.
It is a horror version of the Wizard of Oz concept that myself and Scotty Mullen came up with many years ago while we were filming a movie called Sharknado: Heart of Sharkness, which was a mockumentary about Sharknado that I acted in. I played the guy who was the that way guy who I just pointed like, which way did he go? That way.
Where can we find that movie?
That is on Tubi. But
I'm gonna watch that.
we wrote this, and then Tom and I almost literally a decade later brought this to life. But Tom is a actor, producer, and writer and director. I've seen a couple of your movies that you've directed. Do you want to dive into because one of the things I didn't bring up that you do is you're a dancer, and you've made some pretty heavily dance-involved films.
Yes, yeah. Well, to be clear, I only directed one movie. So,
I thought you directed.
Just directed
I thought you directed both.
No. The first one was
movies.
actually the original dance movie, Love and Dancing, was directed by Rob Iskov, who directed She's All That, which was one of my favorite '90s movies.
Both dance
no.
movies.
I wrote and produced the first one. But
my apologies.
No, it's okay. It's okay. How could it?
Sorry,
how did you
Rob
make that mistake? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'll give you my quick backstory. Is that I started as an actor. I was my whole life was doing that, and I remember the first movie role I got. We shot a movie on the streets of Brooklyn called Gravesend. And it's funny because my son has watched all my movies and he still thinks that's my best movie, my first one. We would go up to a street corner, there'd be a gang of thugs, and we'd be like, "You guys want to shoot a fight scene?" They'd be like, "Yeah, all right." The big fights would break out. And when we were done, we got Oliver Stone to put his name on it. I was the second biggest role, and it was in theaters. It was called Gravesend. Now, that was way back in '97. And when that didn't really make me a household name, it was in theaters, it got a little pop. I kind of said, I'm going to be an actor, writer, producer. And at the time, no one was doing that. In fact, I always tell the story that there was an agent that said, I said, I want to be an actor, writer, producer. And she said, you got to pick one of those things. You can't be all three. I joke that today, if that agent's still alive or working, she would be like, if you went, I just want to be this, they'd be like, well, you got to be multiple things. You know what I mean? So I feel like I trailblazed that. And now, 30 produced films later, and it was something like Option sort of made in movies, 25 screenplays, and then, distribution company.
And you've also trailblazed quite a bit, actually, because you wrote a book on film finance that's actually my avenue towards knowing you.
Yeah.
And that became pretty popular, called BankRoll.
Yes. Yeah.
Where you talked about how to get movies financed.
Yes.
Because you uniquely fell into a a world of understanding how to get a movie made.
Yeah.
Where I mean, that's the hardest. The hardest thing in this business is not making the movie; it's getting it made.
Yeah.
And I found that out early on. It was kind of like if you're a producer that can bring money, you're like the pretty girl at the prom. You know what I mean? Like all the other producers are like, oh, you know,
Tom likes being the pretty girl.
And
at
I
the
like
prom.
being the pretty. Yeah, exactly. I put a prom dress and a wig on.
He learned how to dance. He learned how to sing.
Exactly. Exactly. So no, but yeah, and I wrote BankRoll, the first edition in 2008. Second edition came out in 2012. And they asked me to write a third edition, but you always had to write 30 to 40% new material. And then it would take like a year and a half to get in Barnes & Noble, and even Borders was around at the time. And so then we put everything online, this site called Filmmaking Stuff, and it's one of the most popular. Well, BankRoll was a bestseller, and now Filmmaking Stuff is one of the most popular instructional sites.
And you
on
still
the
have
internet.
still have that for social media filmmaking stuff, and you push teaching filmmakers how to make movies, get them made, financed,
it's
distributed.
really financed and distribution. I mean, we have some stuff on production, but I always say like you can go to YouTube and find out how to light the podcast. You know what I mean? And so it's really on the stuff that we teach that no one else is teaching is raising money and distributing.
And what took your path into distribution and sales?
That's a good question. I have been going this year. The American Film Market will be my 23rd year going to the American Film Market. So yeah, and I remember the first time I walked in, which would be 2004 or 2003, and I
pre-BankRoll.
Pre-BankRoll. Yeah. And by the way, the thing that I knew how to do most, and I always say this, is like it's 2 a.m. This guy's worth $300 million, and we've done 5 shots, and he goes, all right, screw it, I'll write the check. Like that's what I was good at. You know what I mean? Was selling things in the best way possible towards, selling the excitement. And that's really what I teach on filmmaking stuff. But, in kind of moving everything over to that platform. What was the question again? I'm sorry, I forgot.
What brought you into distribution?
Brought me distribution. Yeah. So go to FM and kind of see it and see what this. And I didn't know distribution. As you know, so many filmmakers have no idea. When a producer starts, they get good at making a movie, right? And if they can get to that level, fantastic. Some of them never get there. But if they can get to the point where they can make a great movie, that's almost like step 1. You know what I mean? Like you need to be able to sell it and get it out there. And so I started looking at the movies that I'd made and, losing any control of profits or anything like that, and went, how can I control that and learn it so that I could be more successful in the movies that I made?
I mean, I was pretty shocked yesterday at my event alone. My industry night every Thursday, last Thursday of every month at Pineapple Hill. It's a networking mixer, but a specific one we had just done where we had a little mini film market inside, and there was about 20 filmmakers with pretty solid movies that they had already made that had no idea how to get distribution on them, and we're meeting with the distributors. It's very interesting to go in to making a movie with a plan of how to execute it and not have a plan of how to release it. And that's something that I have always championed. I always know where my movie's going to go before I make it. Yeah. But it's very interesting to see how often it's really putting the cart before the horse.
100%. And by the way, last night was great. It felt like a MIPCOM day or any of those other film market days. And they were all real movies. One guy did sneak in, by the way, and was looking out to fund his movie. And I'm thinking, how the hell did he get past? But
how did he get past security?
Exactly. So I took a knife and I
found out how he got past security. He sent a trailer for a movie he had already made
finished.
That already had distribution, but told us that it didn't.
Yeah, and that was it. He said, by the way, he had a DVD of it.
Yeah.
Well played.
So that was well played.
I mean, well played. You gotta find the opportunities where you can.
Got to get in where you got to get in.
He was hoping you had those shots and were willing to write the check.
Yeah, so true. Everybody has a movie. Actually, let me just do a little segue here. My favorite AFM story of all time. Maybe 2015. I am literally driving. This was when it was at the Lowe's Hotel in Santa Monica, and I'm in the parking lot there, and because you had to park and then take the shuttle up. I park in the lot. I get out, and a homeless guy comes up to me, and he says, "You got any cash?" And at that time, I just carried cards on me, and I said, "No, I don't have anything." And he saw me in the suit, and he goes, "What are you here for, the American Film Market?" And I said, "Yeah." And I swear on my life, he pulls out a postcard and he's like, "This is a documentary I produced." And I was like, the homeless guy has the documentary. I'm like, that is, and that was Ken Burns. No, I'm just kidding. No, that part's a joke. But that was a real thing. But anyway, so you have to have the plan going in. And that's just, it's like movie A, great script, concept, good genre, all those things lined up, maybe a little cast, but no plan. What your plan is, I'm going to go to Sundance and get a bidding war. It's like, come on. like that was a lottery ticket that was sold as a plan for so many years, and a lottery ticket's not a plan.
Well, but it's also a lottery ticket that doesn't really work anymore. You can't just get your movie into Sundance and get it. There's so many movies that got into Sundance these past couple of years that didn't get distribution at all.
It's like 80 or 90%. They actually first did the hurdle of getting in there out of all those movies, and they think, oh, we're in Sundance, and then they still don't get it. We get lists of the movies from Berlin, Cannes, Sundance that didn't get distribution, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's the festival does not guarantee you distribution anymore. I think this business is all about relationships and knowing people and face to face, which is why the markets exist, so you could meet and talk to the distributors. And Tom Malloy has become a king of being face to face with these people.
Yeah, the markets are that's like my stomping grounds. I love them. I've been to so many of them, and yeah, I say to actors, writers, producers, they got to go to film markets, like not film festivals, film markets.
Do you have a favorite though every year that you get to go to, like a one that you're like, hell yeah, I'm going?
Every year I go to the next one and I go, this is my favorite. I get to Berlin, it starts. I'm like, God, I love Berlin. Then I go to Film Art. Then I'm like, God, I love Hong Kong. Then I go to Cannes, and look, it's probably Cannes because it's like it's a magic place. But then AFM is awesome too. I mean, I love them all.
You talk the most about Hong Kong because you like the Hainanese chicken.
Yes.
So you just keep bringing up chicken
I'm
to me.
obsessed with we still haven't gone together. I go. I mean, it's
he
my
just
favorite.
brings up chicken to me all the time. He's like, listen, this chicken, you have to try this chicken.
From the Hainan province of China called Hainanese chicken. It is out of this world. So yeah.
Let me ask you this though. What's it like this year specifically? Because you have now, your Glasshouse distribution has now merged with Studio Dome, and you are going to triple the amount of markets you were going to before. Is that exciting for you? Is that tiring, or is it still invigorating? Like, what is the amount of markets you're now going to? I didn't even know there were that many markets.
Well, so the joke is, Glasshouse Distribution I started 10 years ago. We amassed about 230 movies, 233 or something, and I had employees. And it was the company was acquired last November by Studio Dome. Now,
I thought it merged.
No,
it's an acquisition.
It was
Yeah,
it's an acquisition.
Congratulations.
What's in distribution world? What's the difference between an acquisition?
Well,
and
a merge would be all of my employees and my company becomes on an equal footing with everybody else.
But you took some of
he took but he owns the assets.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So our license agreement are under his.
But David went with you, like company.
David, but the other people did not make it, and we had to dispose of them. But we had to kill him.
You had to hit up those gangsters from Gravesend that you asked. Do you want to get in a fight? You kept those numbers.
I did. I kept the numbers. No, but so we came over, but now Studio Dome has over 2,000 movies, and so like you said, it's exactly triple because we just do 4 markets: Berlin, Cannes, MIPCOM, AFM, and now we're doing. We're doing 19. I'm personally doing 12.
And I think 13 because you did one yesterday.
Yes, I should count that one.
Yeah, we're counting it. We're counting the Pineapple Hill mini market.
Save your receipts.
The PMMM.
The
PHMM. Yeah.
The PHMM.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's so many competitors and all, we're dropping out of market. Oh, we're not doing Cannes this year. We're not doing Berlin. And we decided to go the other way and go super hard on it so that, like in Film Art, I was doing deals with Mongolia and Malaysia and Singapore. And it was like, no one's doing deals with these places. In fact, now I have other sales agents calling me like, hey, can I get, can you rep our movies for these territories? And it's like, oh, that's funny. So it's just, we're trying to have an advantage that way.
Wow.
Do those territories buy a certain genre of movie?
Depends. Yeah. Look, everybody likes genre, you know what I mean? Meaning it's
Action
they don't want
horror.
edgy dramas and edgy comedies and stuff like that. Action horror, thriller. But it's funny. We rep the Full Moon catalog, Charles Band's company.
I grew up on Full Moon movies. I love him.
Great.
Shout out Charlie Band.
He's awesome.
Love that guy.
Yeah, I love him. And he has a label called Surrender Cinema, which is erotic films. And Mongolia, this guy wanted like 20 erotic movies. And so I'm like, I've got erotic movies. And I like pull out the other catalog, flip to the back page. And I'm like, here you go. And so, so we did a deal on that. So,
Charlie's chick, Robin, has been in one of my movies as well. She's awesome. Yep. She's amazing. And I love them. And I grew up on Full Moon movies. I'm a big Full Moon fan. I feel like they're adult fairy tales.
Yes.
They're like little... like it's like they're violent, but also have this like childish nature to them that I love. I mean, the Ginger Dead Man. Who wouldn't want to see Gary Busey as a killer gingerbread man? I fucking love those movies.
It's super fun. No, it's super fun.
It's a great catalog to have. I think it's awesome.
No, it's fun. I love repping it.
And I've told Charlie like a million times. I was like, I want to direct a Full Moon movie, and he thinks I'm joking or something. Like, because he ignores me, and I'm like, I've directed these big action movies. I want to do. I don't care what I'm going to get paid. It would be a feather in my hat. that.
Yeah,
because I
just to
grew
say
up
full
on
moon.
these fucking movies.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I want to make one.
It's really crazy how like the business has changed from then till now, as you know,
Yeah.
and the budgets. And I see the same thing in the markets. It's like I have friends like my friend Nassim, who years ago, and even Sharknado, who I work for now, like years ago, you'd go to Cannes and
Just
you'd
for
walk
people
out.
Listening, can you explain who Sharknado and
Sharknado is the
Nassim
CEO
are?
of Studio Dome, Sharknado Berenson, co-founder of Epic Pictures, and was the first person that brought the Terrifier franchise, discovered it, VHS, another movie he discovered.
Awesome.
And Nassim was New Films International. I used to work for him as the head of production.
Okay,
years
great.
ago. And so they were the first. Well, Nassim definitely was, and another guy named Robbie Little who passed away. They were kind of my mentors in the distribution world. But you would go to Cannes and you'd walk out of there with $2 million in sales. Like, Germany was buying for $500,000, and I know so many people that made a career out of making the C-list Christian Slater movie. You know what I mean? And making it for $3 million and selling it for $8 million. And then amassing $100 million.
Slater's making a comeback now.
No,
post
and
Mr.
I don't mean
Robot,
to. I shouldn't have, like single out Christian Slater.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. Actually, the movie with Glenn Close, I thought he was fantastic.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
And so,
and Mr. Robot, he's fantastic.
yeah,
on
I
Mr. Robot.
I haven't watched that. But anyway, so what I'm saying is that it's like now you're fighting for every sale, and like this is when you would charge the market fees to all these movies, and I'll tell you that for a filmmaker, a lot of times some of these sales agents are stuck in that old belief. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we'll distribute your movie and we need to give you a $50,000 marketing fee. And it's like, what the hell is this? Like, it's so different. And unless you change and know the business is changing, you're in trouble.
You're gonna get left behind.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Has all the streaming services just caused like an mass amount of like saturation in the industry, or
I would give two reasons. One would be the DVDs. There's no physical product to pack and ship anymore. There is, but it's very.
That was
little.
a huge revenue stream.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so the second thing is the the evolution of technology, allowing a floodgate of shit to come in. It's like when I started this business, you had to shoot on 30. You had to shoot on either Super 16, 16, or 35. There was no video. And, especially for beta SP, but it wasn't any quality that you could do. And so that entailed a certain kind of gateway that you had to get over to be able to make those movies. Now I can go to Best Buy and get something equivalent. My phone is equivalent theoretically to some of those things. And so that allows a lot of people to make movies. And that allows a floodgate of,
you have to let the premium
you definitely guys scroll through a lot to find what you want to watch, especially on Tubi. But then you also find some gems of some really unique products, and I think it with all good, there's also bad. I think the access to cameras has made film more accessible to people who wouldn't have been able to make movies, who really should be able to make movies, and then it's also made some bad movies too.
That's my biggest problem, I guess, with the industry is that there are some great movies that go straight to video and are never seen. You know what I mean? And that's really sad because even in the distribution company, someone will take a movie and sometimes the filmmakers will be mad at us because their movie didn't make $1 million, but it's like they didn't see how much we tried to push that rock up a hill and it just didn't get there. And it's like, we were fans of the movie. And sometimes it just doesn't catch an audience. It's a different game these days.
Well, you don't know how many times I've made a movie where I believe this movie is going to be like my biggest hit of a movie, and then barely anybody watched it.
Yes.
But then I make a movie where I'm like, nobody's going to watch this thing. And then everybody fucking watches it. And it's like the #1 movie on every service at that time. It's just it's a really unique thing. Like you can't make movies in this business going, what's everybody going to like? You got to make a movie.
You can't just pander.
You can't pander. You got to make something that's true to yourself that you like, and let the audience come to you. That's what I've learned. As long as it fits within a genre, a clearly defined genre. If you can make something that is action and they can sell it and they know it's an action movie, work within that confines. If you can make a horror movie that they know it's a horror movie, work within that confines, but then make what you would like of that horror movie or that action movie.
You do have to ask yourself, who's going to watch it? But just real quick on your point, when Ron Howard got his Oscar for Best Director for A Beautiful Mind, he went up and he said, after I made Beautiful Mind, I screened it for my mom, and she said, this is the one you're going to win the Oscar for. And everybody applauded. And he goes, she has said that with every movie I've ever done. That's hilarious. And it's like, that's what it is. You always try to knock it out of the park.
Well, do different genres sell different places, or like, is there a type of genre you love to go after where you're like, hey, this is going to sell?
It's so specific. Yeah, go ahead.
Just to piggyback real quick, just a little tidbit. My mom, when I announced I was making a movie on VHS, sent me a text message and said, Jimmy, nobody owns a VHS player anymore. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to digitize it. They could actually watch it on streamers. Like, it's not just, I'm not expecting people to buy VHS tapes.
You should have wrote back and been like, thank God.
She goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, so now I want to release it slightly on VHS just so I can send my mom a copy on VHS.
Thank you so much
for letting me know.
That would be awesome. Watching that movie on VHS would be.
Mom, here's a VHS player and the movie. Watch it.
Yes. No, but to answer your question, it's like there are like Africa. I remember they're not buying as much lately, but you couldn't go too edgy. It had to be more family oriented. So the movies that were like a drama, but it was family friendly, immediate sale to Africa. And then in certain things like Middle East, you can't. I mean, they're so weird. Like you can't do LGBT,
right?
You know what I mean? And,
LGBT is kind of blocked.
Talk about Africa for a second, because as weird as it sounds, and I think I heard this statistic. Don't they have like one of the largest super low budget indie film, like,
well, yes, so that's number 2
scene
so
in the world.
Bollywood's
like
number
Nollywood,
1,
right?
And Nollywood, which is Nigeria, is number 2.
And they're making hundreds of thousands of movies over
Have
there.
You seen them though?
I know I haven't.
So I had a friend that showed me a couple. It's
are those getting distributed, or any of them good?
No, I mean they have.
I'm sure there's some amazing ones.
They have their
there
audience.
Has to be.
Africa's a strange continent because you have the South Africa that is very much like Europe almost, but the rest of Africa, people are pointing satellites at these things, and so you get this satellite, and so they're picking up signals. So it's you have in the entire continent of Africa a certain number of people that pales in comparison to India and Asia and even the United States, and so it's a tough spot to make money in. I'd
love to know if anybody's listening or watching. I'd love to know if there's any specific Nollywood movie that I should check out, because I'd love to see like the quintessential Nollywood film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my friend Hakeem
K.
Kazim, he was my first friend in LA. He was the bad guy in 24, one of the stars of Hotel Rwanda. He's an incredible actor. And there was a book that he brought me, and it was called I Do Not Come to You by Chance. Now, I'll give it the title away because I think it was made into a movie, but him and I tried to option it. And it was about a Nigerian email scam and like a kind of kid who his father dies, he's got to take over making money for the family, and he gets caught up with those scam email kind of things with his kind of unscrupulous uncle. And then shit goes down, and it was like, this is fun. I go, this could be like a great Nigerian movie, and then somebody else optioned it and made a damn movie. Apparently it sucked.
How do you option like a book of some sort?
It's a great thing because I'm always looking for IP. That's something I do a lot. I was at the LA Book Fair last weekend, and I was like talking to people, flipping through books, like, what are you doing with this? And sometimes they'll give me the book if they know I'm a producer. That happened last year, actually. And, it's really whatever deal you can make. A lot of times I will just say you wrote a book. I'll just say, hey, do you have anybody repping this? And we'll just do an option agreement for like a symbolic $1, and it give me a year to try to make it into a movie. If it doesn't, you get the rights back and that's it. So sometimes they want money. There was an author named Lawrence Block, and I remember young being in the business. I had just made my first movie, The Attic, with the director of Pet Cemetery. That was my first big movie.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Elizabeth Moss, Alexander Daddario's first movie. Myself and John Savage.
I thought Carrie Elwes too, right?
No, that was the Alphabet Killer. And so, and I reached out to this Lawrence Block, who was a huge mystery author. And I said, look, you have this book of short stories. I would love to see if I can option one, because Stephen King used to give his short stories.
Yeah, the $1. Yeah.
And so I thought, maybe I'll get the same thing, this guy with a big fan base. And he said, yeah, take a look. If there's something, we could talk. And I took a look, found this one. I said, hey, I think I can make this in a movie. And he wrote back and he was like, okay, 20,000. I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, this is like 2004. I was like, well, that's the end of that.
So that was like 100,000 back then.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, shit. So I thought he was going to do me a favor. But so you never know what you can get. But I mean, Saturday Night Fever, one of my favorite movies of all time, was a magazine article, a one-page New York magazine article in New York. Remember, not New Yorker, New York is a magazine. Or maybe it was New Yorker. But it was a one-pager, and the option it made into one of the best coming-of-age movies of all time.
That's awesome. And to go back to what you're saying, like the LGBT stuff, how hard is that for you to sell at this point?
It depends. No, sometimes easy. Sometimes like that's so specific and niche-y that we have the buyers that are going to buy that stuff.
And then there's some countries that don't fuck with it at all.
Middle East, Africa, not good. If I give him something LGBT to an African guy, he goes, "You are gay." No, I'm just kidding. That was the guy from Uganda. But and so remember that guy? That guy's like got famous by one sentence.
Yeah.
But
why are you gay?
Why
are you gay?
And no, but but Europe is so much more enlightened in many ways than the States are. So it's easy. It's easy over
okay.
there and
So-
stuff like that. Yeah.
Not to ask a super deep question pretty early on, but like, getting into distribution and sales and all that stuff and having it be so focused and it's a lot of work. Does that, in some ways frustrate you because it pulls you away? You're an artist and performer at heart. It pulls you away from being able to create.
I mean, that's a great question because especially now, I mean,
Yeah.
you see me, I do not, people say, hey, you want to go to a matinee? I'm like, bro, I can never. Like, me,
Yeah.
I'll always go to lunch, dinner because my excuse in my head is like, well, I have to eat anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, but going to events like that, I can't. I mean, I get up maybe in the 6s every day. I have my alarm set for 7:15. Maybe once every 3 months it goes off. Like it's just, and I'm shocked when it goes off. Like, oh shit, I slept in.
You did good.
And that's the weekends too. So
Because
I'm
you got to be talking to people in different time zones.
Different time zones, yeah. And then sometimes I'll come back from an event, it'll be midnight, and I'll still get on my computer and do a couple hours of shit, and then I'm like, I should probably go to sleep. Now, my mom will say I'm a workaholic, but I do love it. That being said, yes, I'm starting to feel a drift from the creative side, and that you got to do something about that when you have that itch and go, I got to make something. I mean, I'm talking about potentially directing something, and just doing
you might do
something.
a Christmas movie with my company,
and just do something where I can go, all right, let me make something fun. I do have a great movie coming out July 1st called Orange Justice. That was pretty much my last acting role that I've done. And it is like, I mean, it's the comedy of the summer. It is fucking
Where can people find it?
I'm in it and I produced it.
You wrote it too, right?
We wrote it, me and my comedy partner.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And where can people find it?
It's going to be on TVOD everywhere, like Apple TV, iTunes, Google Play, Fandango, Amazon TVOD.
Orange
everything.
Justice,
Orange
guys.
Justice, yes. So fun.
Justice.
So fun.
But do you find like yourself sitting here going, often like, oh man, I want to be back on set because
Oh no, I'm going to cry after this interview. But
I want to be acting, because you have the chops, you're talented, you've definitely demonstrated it. But I think your life right now is very focused. You are a very important person in a big business at the moment.
Yeah, it's very tough because it's kind of like you want to be a basketball player your whole life, and then you get stuck in the upper management, and you're the upper management of the Lakers. You're one of the team owners, and it's tough because I think that as an actor, there's a huge luck factor. It's like I can put my shit up against anybody. I've always said that. I have done scenes with the top Betty White, Carrie Elway. I mean, I have, and never once did I feel that person's better than me. I was always just like, I got my shit. I've been like, a perfect example is, as you know, some people like kind of come into this business. They haven't had any training. They just jump in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell classes did you take? And it's like, to me, it's like almost equates it like a martial artist. Like, person's been
you do
studying
jujitsu. By the way, he does jujitsu. He's almost a black belt. He's a brown belt. Yeah, he should be getting his black belt very soon. Hegan, give it to him if you're watching.
Yes, thank you.
Give it to him, Hegan.
Please, Hegan. But no, the key is if I was to jump in as a black belt and and did a year of training and then I was a black belt, it was like versus 25 years, you're just going to feel better about it. So it's like I know where I am. I've been acting since I was 10 years old in front of crowds, right? And so, but the key there is I hate to say it, it comes down to money. You know what I mean? If I can make money, just acting would have loved to do.
But if you're in upper management, right?
Yeah.
And LeBron calls you and says, "Hey, we need you to play 2 games." Are you going into?
You dipping out?
Are you going in to come play?
It depends. Because look, I've always I've told you on my last couple sets they call me one take Tom. Like I am so precise and polished and stuff.
I'm going to call you that from now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
OTT.
When girls call me that, I'm like,
OTT.
So anyway, no, but it's funny enough you said today, my friend, his name is Law Torello, he called me and he said he had a movie with the guy that, Dan Flagler, I think is his name. He's a comedian. And Fogler, that's it. And he said, we're all doing improv comedy. He says, and I trained at the IO West, same place, Chris Rock, Tina Fey. Said, I would love you to come in Chicago, that's where they're shooting it, and just play this one role of this guy. And I'm thinking, and it's like one of these micro budget things. And I'm like, I would so love to. I would nail that. But it's like, I can't. I just got lost. How the hell am I going to do that? I'm going to just leave for 3 days and go to Chicago. It's like, it's impossible. It's like,
you're coming here because you've decided you don't get lunch today.
This is my meal.
I said we're already inviting you to dinner. Is there a role that you've always wanted to play that you never got a chance to that you would still do today or love to do?
I'd like to say comedy wise, I'll put my timing against anybody. So it'd be working with a great comedian, but I did a movie called Hero of the Underworld that was really personal to me. And at one point we had a different budget, and like right before 2008 when everything crashed, right? and we had a close to $1 million budget, and we were going to have some stars in it. It was going to be great, and that was my role. I eventually did make that movie for about 1/10 of what that movie was. And but still won like 4 different film festival acting awards, best actor, and some prestigious festivals. And it was like, yeah, I wanted that to be my Half Nelson. If you know what Half Nelson is,
great movie, fantastic
great movie.
film.
But that's the movie that put Ryan Gosling on the map. Like he was no Ryan Gosling. Now, as I get older, I want A Foot Fist Way, which is
I love that movie
made,
too.
Yeah, that made Danny McBride.
I love that movie.
So I hope that Orange Justice could be that, because the advanced people are going, this is one of the funniest movies
Yeah,
I've
a lot
seen.
of from early screenings I've heard it's very funny. A lot of people really liked it. I did not make the screening. I forget why. I think I was doing
I don't remember
something.
Yeah, shooting.
I was
or whatever.
filming. Maybe I was filming Complex Texas or
eating
something.
sushi.
Or eating sushi. No, I wouldn't have missed that.
Or there might have been a new episode of The Boys on. He was like,
I've never seen it.
Just get whatever you watch.
Yeah, but okay. Well, while we're talking about TV, I have a very serious question for you then, because this is something that, like, you know, not to get like unbelievably serious, but do you believe it's real? The One Piece. Do you believe the One Piece is real?
It is real. I mean, Whitebeard said it right before he died.
Yeah, the One Piece is real.
The One Piece is real. So it is real.
The One Piece is real.
For the anime geeks listening, yes.
Yes.
That's One Piece.
So like half of me and Tom's friendship is just sending each other One Piece memes and One Piece videos.
There is a new cafe open somewhere.
Yes, the One Piece cafe.
We gotta go.
Yes. Tom was also with me on a harrowing experience when I went to the One Piece cafe with him, where I was playing with a liquid death can, and the tab fell into the can, and I went to drink it, and I swallowed the tab and started choking.
Yeah. I thought he was joking at first.
No.
He's like, I just swallowed the tab. And
I was like choking for a while. I was like, what's going on? And he was driving. And I ended up like bailing out of the car and going to the hospital.
X-ray on the screen.
Yeah, X-ray on the screen. I literally did swallow a piece
This is a 100%
of
true story. I can vouch for that story.
What was going through your head at that moment? That was a real, like, what the fuck?
I was like, my lunch is ruined. That's what I was saying. I'm like, gotta really put a damper on the lunch.
I only have 30 minutes for lunch per day. I'm overworked.
That's a good excuse.
And now I got to deal with my friend going to a hospital.
Exactly.
What's the deal with that?
That's a great excuse of why you don't show up to a premiere of something. You're like, man, I fucking
there's a crazy story with a guy, I forget who it was, a producer, but you know Sherry Lansing. She was the first studio head that was a female of Paramount. She was the head of Paramount. And beautiful girl at the time. And so of course they gave her shit like, oh, models running Paramount, blah, blah, blah. This guy wrote an article about how to F up a meeting. He's going to meet with Sherry Lansing, and he wakes up late for this meeting. And he's like, oh my God, the head of Paramount. And he goes rushing through the lobby of this hotel, and Peter Finch, the star of Network, is there. And he goes, waves to Peter, turns around. Peter Finch literally dies on the spot. He died in this hotel. It's a true story.
Shit.
I think he's one of the only people that got the actor posthumously, like after he died, got the Oscar.
Jesus, how did he die?
So it's a heart attack or something like that. So he goes to Sherry and he, sends her a letter, or calls her and says, hey, this is why Peter Finch had the perfect excuse. Okay. So she said, oh my God, yeah, that's horrible, blah, blah. He rescheduled. Can you believe he overslept again? Now, sent her flowers, sent her chocolates, and he said she was nice, like, oh, got the flowers, got the chocolate. But of course, never got a meeting again. And it's like, that is how to F it. Like if you have the advantage of a guy dying in front of you, that's like, or anything happened, like something, a guy swallowing a thing, and then it's like, oh, I'm late because James is in the hospital. Great. But if you do it twice, like you're never getting that meeting again.
That sounds like another book right there.
I feel like if you do it twice, the first thing that goes through somebody's mind is either A, they're lying, or B, they're really, really unlucky and you don't want to be around them. Yeah. If people are dying and choking on things every time you're around me, it's like, hey, or if everybody is, everybody in your family or grandparents are sick or dying or something, or every time you have a meeting, they always have to cancel because of something like that.
Yeah, it's usually not true. But, the key is, look, I always say shit happens, because if somebody cancels a meeting, okay, I'll never, you know what I mean? Like
we're looking at you, Brad Pitt. You had to cancel.
Exactly. No, you can, anything, there's always crap. I was going to a dinner and hit a pothole, and not only one flat tire, the front and back. Boom, boom. Shit. And I was like, oh, shit. So anything can happen. But then when it happens twice, that's the same. Nev Campbell, I'll just say it. Love and Dancing was supposed to star Nev Campbell, and she was the first actress who showed interest. And Rob Iscove and I were meeting with her, and she bailed once, and then the second time bailed twice. And this wasn't even me, because I was still like, oh, Nev Campbell, because she was a dance background. And Rob Iscove's like, nope, never. I will never cast her in this movie. That's it. Like twice. The first time he was like, yeah, okay, you know what I mean? But the second time he's like, nope, I will. If he goes, I'm not doing the movie.
She was busy getting that screen money.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And then Amy Smart, who was a doll. And
I love Amy Smart. Yeah,
she seems amazing.
Amazing.
She was amazing.
How did you said something about Betty White? Did you work with Betty White?
I did. Yeah, in the movie Love and Dancing, it was with myself, Amy Smart, Billy Zane, and it was a dance film romantic comedy. Like I said, directed by Rob Iscove, director. She's all that, and it's crazy how it happened. We needed this woman to dance in the scene with me, so I was dancing with her, and then hit on me, and this ended up being Betty. And the main reason was she was big into zoos, and there was an ape that was transferred from the LA Zoo to Albuquerque where we were shooting. So we threatened to kill the ape. No, we said if
she wanted to see the ape.
Yeah, we said if she comes, she would get a special tour and say hi to the ape and all that. So we did that. The producers the next day took her and gave her the tour, and that's how we got it.
So we kidnapped the ape.
We kidnapped the ape. Yeah, held the gun. We're like, if you wanted this ape alive,
see this fucking ape.
Betty White's like, I'm signing on to this.
Yeah, exactly. So you never know what things.
Was she amazing? I'm a huge fan.
She was like everyone's grandma. I wanted to be like, be my grandma. She was incredible and beautiful. Her hitting on me is just hilarious. She actually says to me, I got to get laid tonight, which is the best moment of my career. I don't know how I'll ever talk.
I hope it's in your demo reel.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it is.
So you've created a lot of opportunity for yourself in acting.
Yeah.
You know, talk about that for young actors trying to break in, the importance of creating your own opportunities.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that as I get older and maybe more cynical, I go, maybe not everybody should do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm starting to get to that point. You've got to be able to bring it. Back when I started it, it's like the first movie, like I said, the professional movie was The Attic. It was Elizabeth Moss, huge, incredible actress. She wasn't huge yet, but she had just got Mad Men, and this is pre-Handmaid's Tale, and it was the director of Pet Sematary, right? I gained 40 pounds, 35 or something pounds, and played an autistic guy. The movie, when it came out, panned by critics, except I got some reviews like the guy who played the autistic guy, and it was like, I met with all these autistic guys and tried like Asperger's syndrome and tried to emulate their movements and stuff like that and put that into the role. And I remember day one, that was one of my best movie feelings because everybody knew Elizabeth was going to pop. And we did a couple takes and Elizabeth looks at me and she's like, "You're good." And I was like, "Oh shit, that's a good feeling." You know, it's like now this is one of the best actors in the world now telling me that. And so it's what I'm getting at is that, look, I'll say this. If you don't, I just found out today there was this billionaire lawyer guy that Sharknado was telling me about. And he puts himself as the lead, like the show, the Tom Malloy show, you know what I mean? And I think that's a mistake. When I wrote The Attic and The Alphabet Killer and Love and Dancing was a co-lead, but The Attic and The Alphabet Killer were good supporting roles. In fact, I wrote a role for myself in The Alphabet Killer that got so good by the time we were polishing the script and we had Rob Schmidt, the director of Wrong Turn, that I went, I can't play this anymore. And that went to Tim Hutton because I just, from a producer's mindset, said, who's wants Tom Malloy when you get Tim Hutton in his role? Then I played a different role and I took a bit of a lesser role. But, you know, so I always had that idea of, look, I'm not a household name. So let me surround myself with great people and show I'm just as good, if not better than them.
That you can hold toe to toe.
If that's your attitude, as putting it, instead of just, I want to be famous, then it's good. Then do it. You know what I mean? Create the opportunity.
Don't you believe in this business, though, that you have to, without a shadow of a doubt, have unbelievable belief in yourself, like unwavering, 100%. Because, you know, you're faced with so much rejection, so much disappointment in this business that if you do not completely and utterly believe in yourself at all times, and if you believe it here, if you feel it here, you speak it here, you make it happen, you manifest it. Like that's something that you have to do. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
But wait, before you go to that, by the way, it's not. Everybody messes that up. If you look up insanity, that's not. That's a quote from Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin said the definition of insanity, like he said that. But anyway, here's the thing. You're totally right about everything else. One of my favorite quotes from Charlie Chaplin. And he said, even when I was broke, homeless, living on the street, I knew I was the best actor in the world. And that's a great thing. And I always have kept that in my mind. When you know, you're just like watching, like I remember going to Cannes and seeing one of Sean Penn's movies, which was great. It was about the people, the emergency services people. And I had never made it huge in the States. I think it was called Black Flies. And he was so good. And I was just kind of like, I can do this with Sean. Like I was just watching him. Like there's not one piece of me that went, well, I don't know what I would do if Sean Penn's doing lines. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to show him how fucking good I am. You know what I mean? Like I get very competitive when I see famous actors.
I mean, I knew at a young age I was going to make movies, and every single teacher, everybody who was around me, everybody told me I was not going to do it, and I just knew. I just said, I don't need to learn chemistry. I won't need that when I'm making movies. I don't need to do this. Won't need it when I'm making movies. I was just so laser focused that I just knew. I just knew I was going to do it, and nobody believed I was, but I always believed I was. And then nobody believed I would work with name actors, and then I did. And nobody believed that I would do, any of the things that I've done, and I did. And I just, my unwavering, insane belief in myself is what drives me. And I feel like if you don't have that belief in yourself in this business, it's impossible to succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can't deal with the bumps in the road. I mean, a lot of people tell you to humble yourself and in this business, and I feel like that's dimming your light.
Yeah.
You have to sometimes not be humble, because that belief is what really will drive you.
Agreed. Yeah. And I've done it. I've been a victim of that, of humbling myself at times. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. It's like, I remember my parents, they were supportive, but at one point, like one Christmas when I just got out of college, they got me a book like Knock 'em Dead about like writing resumes and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm not going to need this. Like,
my mom wanted me to be a lawyer.
Yeah. So, so in the same time, I remember when my son was Tyler Malloy, when he was first trying acting, my mom asked, so you think he'll make a go of it? And I said, no, not as an actor. I'm like, writer, yes. And I think he's a great writer, maybe great director one day.
Tyler, when you're watching this episode, if you haven't already, by the time this episode airs, you owe me a log line.
Yes, he does. He does. And he might be directing.
Or you're like,
for James.
I'm acting.
James. But at the same time, my mom said, what do you think about Tyler? And I go, he's not obsessed with it. And I was obsessed with it.
You have to be obsessed.
And maybe I'm not anymore because of, factors of paying the friggin' and having 2 kids. You know what I mean? Those are facts.
You are a family man for sure.
I still believe, like, if I was trying to hire a director and it was between you two, and you were like, yeah, I'm not any better than the other guy. I just do the stuff and put the shots up. And you're like, dude, I have a vision. Of course I'm gonna hire you. You know what I mean? So the same as an actor, if I'm like, oh, I can nail this, and then. And I'm sure you've experienced this. Some people are super confident and then they don't bring it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have to still bring it.
You got to bring it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've always felt that, talent is subjective. I believe I'm an unbelievably talented person, but what I do know, which is not subjective, is I will always outwork anybody.
Yeah.
I will work harder.
I
will be more dedicated than anybody in that room at all times. Like I will never stop.
Yeah, that's
because
great.
I will make sure that I work harder than anybody.
Oh, you're one of the few people from back in the day that actually kept going.
Yeah.
From our whole group from years upon years ago, 2010, 2012, you're one of the few people in our group that
There's a great book called Grit you should check out. And it's basically saying that grit and doing it is what matters most in life as far as success. It's like not luck and it's not chance. And those things do get publicized. You go, oh, he went to a thing and got lucky. They picked him out of a line. Cameron Diaz, you heard they picked her out of a line and she's a star. And everybody goes, oh, that's all I got to do? Or the American Idol or something like that. But it's the grit, it's the determination. You guys working all the time, doing stuff, making stuff, writing stuff. You know what I mean?
Undeniable determination, grit, and focus. I mean, I am laser focused. I believe you're laser focused. I know you're laser focused. Being so determined and believing in yourself and just not giving up and pushing and finding a way every day. I am always trying to make something at all times.
Life is too short not to like just push.
One thing I could say to anybody that's listening that may be like, I want to get in this business or whatever, is this has helped me so much. It's called my ant theory. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but this is my theory on the movie business and life. There was a comedian, Brian Regan, that said when he was a kid, he would watch these ants building an anthill. And he goes, they'd be working at it, and every once in a while, he'd just take his hand and he'd be like, rebuild, and he'd just knock it down. And he goes, and there was never a moment where the ants were like, dude, we've been working at this for like, they just immediately went back to it. So I applied that to my life. I'm getting this movie going. Oh, this guy fell through. I never take 2 weeks to lay in my bed and go, oh, I just go, all right, now I got to get this. And then it's like, oh, this financing fell out. Well, I got to call this guy. And you have to be an ant. So that's always, you just go, this is what it is. Now, what do we got? Like, what is the solution now? I got to go over here.
For us, that's great advice.
I think it's just having irons in the fire too. So if shit gets put off, you've got other things too.
I believe in having 100 irons in the fire because one can catch fire at all times. I'm always finding some new thing to make at all times. I mean, me and you have been in many group chats together, and how often do I throw in the group chat like, "Hey, who wants to put together this movie right now and do this?" Like that's what I want to do.
And that is a fun thing. Like I just had these friends call me that have a place, Sun Valley, in an LED wall, and they're like, we could just do some, we could just do some like weekend movie stuff. And I was like, Yes,
that's why
I gotta
Tyler
do it.
needs to get that log line.
I know, exactly.
It's not like everybody's got an LED wall access.
Exactly. You don't have one? Come on. I got one in the car. No, but yeah.
So Tom, you touched on it earlier, and I know your kids, I know Tyler and Ella, what was it like being a family man and bringing up kids in this business? Because I've seen some very adorable pictures of you bringing your kids when they're very little to markets.
Yes. And movie sets.
and they're in movie sets that at like 5-10 years old, coming with you
Even
on red carpets.
I loved it. And, I really thought it was fun to get them. Like, look, I feel so comfortable on a movie set. I always have. I've just felt, I know where to stand. I know the vibe of it. And I wanted them to experience that, sit in the director's chair and stuff like that. And so it was really cool. Funny enough, Tyler, as a newborn, was in the movie The Alphabet Killer. I have my father-in-law carrying him through one of the backgrounds of the scene. And so I think that's, my ex-wife's family's from Rochester. I remember going back, we had just moved here and we were living above our means in a big house in the hills and all that. I remember going back there to Rochester, upstate New York, Midwest kind of attitude. And I said something about Beverly Hills, and my mother-in-law goes, "Oh, is that like all roped off?" And I go, "Wait, what?" And she says like roped off. And I'm like, "No, it's like, that's where our library is." Like, and it was like in the mind of a lot of other people in the country that haven't experienced what we've experienced, that's on a pedestal and like, oh, this is, you can't ever touch that and you can't ever be. And I wanted to feel normal and part of their lives from when they were kids. And they didn't, it's like, I was friends with Jack Black and all those people when they were little and they didn't realize any of it. It was just people, you know what I mean? And so I think it was fun to get them like baptized into that early on.
Let me ask you, because you did move back to Rochester for a little while your kids were in school.
Yes.
And then you came back to here. There's a lot of conversation, especially post-COVID, of people going like, well, if I want to be an actor, I want to be in the film business. I don't really have to live in LA anymore. As somebody who's moved back, do you believe that? Do you feel a difference living here than you did over there? Or do you not have to live in LA anymore? What's your take?
I completely disagree with the people that say that. I think that Los Angeles is where you have to be. Sean Reddick, a producer partner, said it to me. He goes, if you're not in LA, you're not in the business. And I really believe that. It's like the perfect example is you can go to Arts Deli right now and every table would be talking about movies. That's not going to happen in Chicago, Atlanta, bullshit. New York City, never.
A homeless guy will hand you
you're getting scripts from a homeless guy.
I said before you go to the In-N-Out truck at AFM on that situation.
You make jokes about homeless guys doing that, but I mean, Rocky Balboa, like, he was, Sly Stallone was homeless, trying to get that movie made.
So Nick Chartier, who's a friend of mine.
He's a friend of mine too, Nicholas Chartier.
He's the head of Voltage Pictures and the producer of Dallas Buyers Club and Hurt Locker. Won the Best Picture Oscar. He gave a script to my other friend, Cashin Elways. And Cashin was elevated at that time. And Nick was living on the beach in France and slid it under his door at Cannes. And Cashin called him back and it was a payphone. Nick answered on the payphone. You know what I mean? And then that's how he got this deal, and Cashin ended up buying the script, made it, and that started his entire career. So it's like you can always turn it around, bro. You know what I mean? Like you can always push that. But I do believe that here, look, when I was in Rochester, I think I made 5 movies there. But that was an ant. That was exactly the ant theory. I only moved there because of a divorce, and I wanted to be with my kids half the time. So that was like, okay, now I'm in here. How do? I make movies here. But I've never ever not loved being here. But
you feel the difference industry-wise.
Of course, you're just so connected.
I can feel the difference in California alone. Like I live in San Francisco, but I'm here every few weeks to do the thing. Nobody in San Francisco is talking about movies. I mean, if anybody's talking about anything up there, it's documentaries.
Yes.
If anything, because they want to do documentaries on whatever's going
Silicon
on
Valley or whatever.
Yeah, of course. And it's like none of the Silicon Valley gives a shit about movies, even though they want to control movies on things. But they don't talk about it here as a different vibe for things to get things done. I guess you could live in Atlanta and things like that and be like that background style actor and that type of deal because they're shooting stuff there, but you're never going to like.
But then you're unique. You know, it's like when I was in Rochester, I'd gone back for a week and I started hanging out with different people because I thought, well, I'm here. I better start making some friends. And this one improv troupe, and we were just kind of hanging out at a bar. And I said something about some star, whatever, like pick up random, Steve Carell or something like that. And this one guy goes, "Oh, do you know him too?" Like I had been name dropping. Right. And I hadn't been. I was like, bitch, if I was name dropping, you'd be fucking buried. But I was like, I must have just said, yeah, I was talking to this guy. And then I remember hiding it. This one time we were going and the house on the Haunted Hill or whatever it was, directed by Mike Flanagan, who I knew. Mike Flanagan did his first movie based on my book, Absentia, based on my book, BankRoll.
That's amazing.
My friend Morgan read my book, raised the money, gave it to Mike Flanagan. Now Mike Flanagan's huge.
Mike and I were doing festivals at the same time when I did my first movie, and so awesome. I talked to him.
Oh, he's the nicest guy, by the way.
Yeah, very nice guy.
So I haven't seen him in years. He's gigantic right now.
10 years.
Yeah, and did the Shining sequel and all this. So he was House on. I remember sitting with my friend Billy and a couple other people, and they were like House on Haunted Hill, and I was like, oh, my friend, and I was about to say directed that, and I went, is a big fan. I literally changed it mid-sentence because I'm like, they will never believe this. And they'll think that I'm just bullshitting. I'm like, but here it's accepted because that's what we fucking do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's weird because people will say like, oh, you know, you're name dropping or this or that. And it's like, well, it's not name dropping if this is a person I'm actually spending every day with.
Exactly.
You know, like
exactly.
you're like, oh, I'm working with this person and I'm talking to this. That's not name dropping. That's updates of what you're doing.
Totally.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, Dane Cook was on the podcast. Like, that's wild as shit. I mean, as a kid, I'm like, wait, like Dane Cook's gonna be on our podcast?
Yeah.
Like, let's watch it or be in a movie with these people. It's nuts. Yeah, because you don't get that feeling from being on the East Coast or those type of places. Like, you go those places, and I'm 100% with you where I've been in situations on the East Coast where you have to like reel it back, where you're like, I'm not even gonna talk about that situation.
I've talked about this before on a previous episode, but it actually brings it back to, you know, this the crab in a bucket from fishermen. They don't put a lid on the bucket of crabs because if a crab tries to crawl out, they know that the other crabs will grab it and pull it back down. Yeah. And that's like, I feel like when people are trying to dim your light, they want to bring you to their level because when you show what you're doing, it shows them what they're not doing. People get upset because they had those dreams and they didn't swing for it.
Yeah.
And when you do swing for it, or they gave up, or they never tried, and when you do swing for it, it makes them not, you know, it makes them go, oh, I'm not doing it. Instead, they should be inspired. Oh my God, somebody from my hometown can do this. Somebody who lives here went for it. I should go for it.
And we've talked about that so many times so far on this podcast. It should
be inspiring, not showing you negatives about yourself. You should be inspired. Raise up. The tide should rise, everybody. Everybody should rise with the tide, should not go down.
Yeah, we get excited because, I mean, this small group that we have, including you, like I'll bring you up as an example. Like we all seem to support each other. One person gets something, we're like, go do it. Even when you got your magician thing,
you guys are all
it was
excited.
just everybody on Instagram being like, way to go, Tom, way to go, Tom, way to go, Tom, way to go, Tom. And it's
Tom bought tickets to go see my movie Boris is Dead at the Beverly Hills Film Festival. Bought a ticket, and it was not a cheap ticket. I wouldn't have bought it. It was expensive.
Always support. The confident people always support. It's the Frank Sinatra song, That's Life, when he said some people get their kicks stomping on a dream, and it's like that's a lot of people do that. So, you know, it's what it is. You know, it's the ant theory again. You have to keep going but I won't say that I'm immune to that shit. You know, somebody will make a comment. You know, not the name dropping comment. That was more enlightening, but something else, and oh no, well, you can't, you know, are you going to sell me your movie that you're in, you know, like, because that's happened, like a buyer, and they're like, you know, and it's like you get that heart sink, but the key is you just can't let it stop you. But man, it does affect you sometimes, but you just got to go, fuck them, I'm just going to do it anyway, you know what I mean? Like, just look at them, you know, just keep going.
I like the mailman theory. Like, if you see your friends succeeding, you know, it's them getting mail, and you know that the mailman's got to deliver mail to all the houses eventually.
I've never heard that.
You know, at some point, the mail's going to hit all the houses. So, you know, oh, it's happening all around me. It's going to happen to me at some point. Keep that energy. Rise to the occasion. Surround yourself with people that you believe in and that believe in you, and keep building and growing.
It's great.
You know, do not be the smartest person in the room. If you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
No, you want to be with people that are bigger than you. And it's what I was going to say before is kind of like the fun part of the movie business is like, it's almost like high school. I remember, like, you know how you'd be mixing up and getting different classes, and there was a pretty girl or a pretty guy in the case that you wanted to see in a different class. And then suddenly you had a class with them, and then you became friends with them, and you're like, oh, they're in my social circle now. That's the way it is with the movie business. Like, there are people that I've watched on TV shows and movies, and then I'm like, oh, they're texting me now. Like, this is super cool, because suddenly I work with them, and I'm like, now they're in my friend group, and that's the best feeling. It's a really cool.
I mean, like, be real to people too. Like, just be real.
I mean, a frequent hangout for us is both Kristana Loken and Sean Ferris.
Yeah.
And those are people I never, I mean, when I used to watch them in movies.
Me too.
And
Yeah.
now they're always hanging out with,
Yeah.
Sean is one of my best friends. Yeah, and I remember seeing Terminator 3 in the theater.
Yeah.
Now, I never saw Sean's movie, unfortunately, but
Never
Sean
Back
is the
Down?
nicest.
Oh, yeah,
never
he's the
saw it.
nicest guy.
I'll never
Yeah,
back down.
yeah,
And Pretty Little Liars and everything else.
yeah.
But like he's just the greatest dude. So like even last
Nicest
night I was
guy.
like, hey, what's up,
Yeah,
Sean
yeah,
Ferris?
but you
Like,
know, and they come to my networking events
Totally.
to support. But it's one of those things like, you know, it's crazy to see. Those are people that you saw at one point, and now it's like, oh yeah,
now
I'm
they're
just
really
hanging out
like
with them
Martin
all the
Coe.
time.
He's a great. I
Marty,
mean, him and
yeah.
I got along gangbusters on the movie that we did together. But I remember seeing Karate Kid when I was 10 because it was 84 and I was born in 74. And I remember,
the leg.
I remember watching that, and I was like, I am so scared of that guy. Like I'm so
Same.
scared. And then now it's like he's a friend, and he's older. He's and it's just like, oh, this is hilarious. And this is that guy that I was like super scared of, and now he's
hilarious.
texting me.
Oh, yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah,
He's so
it's
funny.
hysterical.
But I was like,
fighting the guards.
Yeah,
very
yeah,
funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
And we told Jesse the same thing here recently. Like, holy shit, I used to be so scared of your dad.
Yeah, exactly. But
So unfortunately, we are getting to the end of the episode, and you know, usually around this time, is there any last bits of advice you'd like to give to actors or filmmakers that you want to impart, and also where can people find you on social media?
Yes. Okay. Well, as far as actors and filmmakers, I would say a couple tips. Go to film markets. When the EFM, Cannes, or AFM, you got to see how the business works. The second thing is to be obsessed and try to do the best possible thing you can, but have that persistence.
And also make stuff with your friends. Just start making things.
Nowadays, it's so much easier to do that. So look at one of my favorite quotes is "Life is not a dress rehearsal," and it's kind of like another one that's one of my favorites is that whether believe you can or you can't, you're right. And so you have to have that inner voice firing on all cylinders, saying, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to win." And if you do that, you can succeed. But to social media Instagram is just Tom Malloy, TOMMALLOY, or filmmaking stuff is really the best place to find me. Filmmaking stuff is we do free content, lessons on financing, distribution. There's also a membership site that's paid, but there's so much for free that you can also access. So check it out.
And is that a website?
It is a website.
You want to plug the website link real quick?
Yes, to www.filmmakingstuff.com.
Okay, and then great. And then if people wanted to submit to you like movies for distribution or sales, how would they? Where would they send that?
You could just you can email me at. It's probably better to email David at studiodome.com. But if you go to studiodome.com, you can actually see where you can upload because we have that Bloodstream platform, or you can submit a movie there on studiodome.com.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Fantastic. And just give me one more plug for Orge Justice.
Yes, Orge Justice. It's. This was by my comedy partner, a guy named Scott Baker I met years ago playing. When I first got in the union, I did all this extra work and not to get on camera. In fact, I would avoid the camera. Everybody else was trying to get in front of you and get on camera. I was avoiding it. I just want to see how the director worked and how the star worked and just kind of see it. And I got an extra role playing the right fielder for the New York Yankees in the movie Anger Management with Adam Sandler, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
And he was like center field, this guy, Scott Baker. And he was a former NYPD turned stand-up comic and turned improv comic. And we've been working together on and off on stage for years. And we created these characters, these cops characters. And the movie is those two characters riffing off of each other and interacting. They have to take this young girl across the country to meet her father. And hilarity ensues. So, yeah.
Check it out, Orange Justice. And also take a chance to look at me and Tom's movie, Wicked of Oz. I'm sure you could catch it on Tubi by now, as well as Amazon and anywhere you rent a movie.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Tom,
Thank you so
thank you
much,
so
Tom.
much.
Fantastic, guys.
We'll see you guys next week. Thank you,
Fantastic.
Tom.
Awesome.